Yeah, crypto's been getting exciting this last few weeks. People have been getting real hyped. There's a lot of chatter in the crypto space about BlackRock has a spot ETF that's being assessed by the SEC. A lot of people are assuming that the SEC will be approving that sooner rather than later, and so we get a lot of hype, a lot of price action moving into crypto, and a big part of that. Hype is kind of, it feels to me at least, it's a little bit of one of these kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news events, where there's a lot of hype, a lot of like excitement around the potential for the spot ETF to become come online, and therefore open the gates to kind of more retail and institutional money entering the crypto market. But we also have to keep in mind that money would be entering the ETF market for BlackRock's ETF, not necessarily spot buying into crypto. And so what we're seing here in the market, you have.
I don't think a lot of people understand that. They just get it. They just sort of like accepting. They're sort of baited into the hype of like.
Yeah.
Okay, the day that the ETF is gonna be approved, like either BlackRock or like I don't know, like hundreds of thousands or millions of people are just gonna start buying Bitcoin.
Yeah. So
and
just
I think that's
I think
really
as a kind of really brief to kind of like give a little bit of a context to what it means for an ETF to be approved, a spot ETF specifically, because there are already future ETFs that trade for Bitcoin, but a spot ETF just means that it's an ETF, which stands for exchange traded fund. So it's a investment vehicle that is backed by physical Bitcoin, so spot Bitcoin, meaning that BlackRock holds Bitcoin and then sells shares of its Bitcoin portfolio. So when you're buying a BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, what you're buying is a share of BlackRock's stored Bitcoin. And so when this does eventually get approved, the Bitcoin that is being sold as the spot ETF, the buying pressure that comes from retail and from institutional investors buying spot ETFs now doesn't necessarily translate to spot buying Bitcoin pressure, because BlackRock obviously already has purchased an amount of Bitcoin in order to seed fund, its ETF before it ever applied for these types of approvals from the SEC. So again, what you're buying when you buy a spot ETF is you're basically buying a share of BlackRock managed Bitcoin portfolio. And so the only reason why that would add more buy pressure to the actual Bitcoin on-chain or Bitcoin spot market would be if the buy pressure for this ETF outperforms the existing, stash of Bitcoin that BlackRock already has established when it, started to apply for those approvals. So again, it could be that, this ETF goes live and everybody and their mom wants to buy some shares of this ETF. If that happens, then maybe they don't have enough Bitcoin on hand and then they do have to buy off the spot market. But generally speaking, BlackRock and any institution that applies for a new ETF has basically seed funded the backing of those ETF assets by the time that they, submit those proposals. So I do read a lot of the excitement out there that makes people kind of seem to think that, this is going to drive a bunch of buying pressure into the Bitcoin market. And I have to kind of disagree a little bit, at least. While it could, that only would happen if the buying pressure of the ETF outpaces what the expectation that BlackRock already has set.